guys here today. Before we get started, I want to start with just one quick housekeeping item. We are welcoming and encouraging questions. So if you have a question, we'd ask that you would post it in the Q&A section as opposed to the chat box. That'll help us keep track of questions versus people that are chatting and conversing with each other. And we'll go through, as we're working through the presentation, actually engaging with the questions as they come in. And we will also have questions at the end. So please, please, please be engaged. We are absolutely delighted to have all of you here today. And we have some fantastic TAMS volunteers that will share the future vision for the TAMS community, and even more importantly, the amazing work of the TAMS committee. So let's get this party started. As you can see from our opening slide, we are sharing many of the reasons why, right, our TAMS volunteers have come and joined our community. And it is truly a family of individuals that are dedicated to the advancement of our industry. And if you haven't already, we're encouraging everyone to join us. We are going to get this party started now. So let's welcome the TAMS founder, resident comic, TikToker, and poker playing Susan Lichtenstein. Susan, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Jen. I love that bio. I'm going to change my entire bio. I love it.
I figured it'd be easier that way. So today, I'll just quickly go through the agenda, and Susan's going to kick us off, but we are going to talk about TAMS, who we are, what we're doing. We'll talk about our leadership and structure, and then we'll go through our committee report out, and obviously Q&A and next steps. So, Susan, let's talk about why you decided to do this, and sort of what you see as the vision for TAMS.
Great. So, great. And I think we have a vision slide we can bring up while I'm talking, but, you know, in March, you know, the travel stopped. It just never happened before. We've had travel pause. We've had situations where we've had travel in some places and not, but travel stopped. And lots of people were, you know, kind of going into panic mode, which is completely understandable. And people being laid off, and people didn't know what to do next, and travelers didn't know what to do next. And a lot of information was coming from many different places. And I was in my office saying, boy, wouldn't it be great if we got together and had a conversation? Suppliers, buyers, no walls, every voice matters, working furlough. Let's get together and see if we can move this forward together, do this together. Because we have been that group before. We know how to do this. And I put a simple LinkedIn post to say, hey, anybody interested in getting together to try to see what's next, to see how we can help and maybe put some information out together that makes sense. And I thought I'd get like 10 people to say, yeah, I'll help you. And I got 10,369 views. So it became a little overwhelming. I was like, oops, now what do I do? But what it really showed was the excitement and passion for people to come together. And so the first TAMS rollout, you know, we were using ACT technology at the time. Then the first TAM rollout really enabled us to put out 2 great reports. One on standards, so TAMS, travel and meeting standards, about how to travel safely over the next 3 phases. And the other one, of course, is how to communicate and engage. And those 2 reports are excellent, and we'll have those for you as well. And when that was over, people came back and said, now what? We love this. We love meeting together. We love every voice counts. We don't want to have this go away. So we said, okay, let's go grow this thing. So we started a LinkedIn page. We started communicating with each other. And we're going to show you how much we've grown today. So we are so excited, and we hope you come for the journey. So what is TAMS? We are a collaborative, grassroots, independent society. We're the first society. We're going to get t-shirts made up and badges, right, Joe? We're the first society ever of business travel industry professionals designed to drive the business travel and meeting and event industry forward through collaboration. Can you imagine collaboration? Let's do this thing together, right? Not apart. Our vision is to create a safe environment where the business travel and meeting event industry can meet, a society that identifies its own issues, and a community where every voice, and this is so critical, every voice matters. So if you're any company size, if you're a supplier or buyer, if you're furloughed or working or just want to get in here and help, your voice is equal to every voice here. To build a community of industry professionals, regardless of your role, to provide a diverse and inclusive collaborative environment. Where do you hear from our breakthrough diversity team? That's a must in our group. And we just want to educate, disrupt, of course, because I'm in this thing, and innovate the business, travel, and meeting and event industry. So let's go, Jen. Let's show them how we're going to do that. I'm a little passionate about this. So who are we? We're 40% buyers, and that's growing every second of every day. We are, I think we're even over 2,400 members right now, are we not? We're closer to 3,400 members. I should have gotten that last number in there. Sorry, guys. So we're close to 3,400 members. We are just, everybody's a volunteer. We represent 6 continents. We are so global. I mean, yesterday my day started at 5 a.m. and I couldn't have been happier. And we're 70% female. Check that out. So we didn't plan it. All these smart women came over here to help us, and this is great diversity in our group. And we have a really cool logo.
Cool.
If you haven't noticed.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about, we've got this amazing community, right? And very passionate. You can tell Susan's really passionate about it. But let's talk a little bit about the leadership and structure, right? Because we love the grassroots, the organicness of it all, but it can't necessarily always be a free-for-all, right? Although we like to be as free as possible. So Joe, do you want to share with us kind of the leadership and the structure of what TAMS looks like and how people can get involved?
Sure. Okay. Well, I think, in terms of the leadership and the structure, we've tried to keep it as flat as possible. So, staying true to our grassroots culture, we don't want to put lots of layers of authority and stuff. So, the key about TAMS, what's really important and sits in the heart of our society is transparency. So even when the various committee leaders get together and have meetings, anyone from TAMS can tap into that meeting and listen to it. So, we're all about transparency. Everything is really open. I think one of our TAMS colleagues, actually who's on the call today, I've just spotted, but shall remain nameless, described TAMS as Woodstock. So, TAMS is like the Woodstock for our travel industry. So, we encourage all of the travel industry professionals to come along, bring a guitar, do a bit of jamming and see what we can do. So it's all really cool. So we want to see that mirrored in our organizational structure. Now, as we start to get more established, which we are now, because there are certain things that we need to do, and in order to do those things we need to have some structure in it. So this is what that looks like. So we have advisors. Advisors are people that kind of work with each of the different committee leaders and help to make things happen. So they're the guys that clear the obstacles, they're the liaisons between each of the different committees, and they're the ones that the committee leaders could go to if they need some help or some ideas or some, they just need some engagement from some other committees. So that's what those advisors do. Typically, those advisors were involved in the first TAMS incarnation. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces from first TAMS operating as the advisors. Then we have the committee leaders. So each committee currently have 11. You're going to hear from them all today, and they're all awesome. I can't wait for them to share what they're doing with you. These are the guys that facilitate the committee work. So they really work collaboratively with the committees and are the ones that funnel all of those ideas and put some structure around them and really kind of keep those committees moving forward. And then we have the committee members. So there's no limit to our committees. The only requirement to join is that you want to get involved. That's it. So, there's no limit. There's no things of, well, we can only have this many. So if you want to get involved, you absolutely can. There's a number of different ways to get involved, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunders, but there are new ways of getting involved now that there weren't before, but I will let the others share that with you. And in terms of the structure, we're really keen to make sure that TAMS is constantly evolving. So, the way that we're setting it up is that there's really an 18-month tenure for the committee leaders. And those committee leaders then work with a plan of succession. So the people within their teams are the people that will succeed them as leaders. And then once those leaders roll off, they'll roll on to the advisor spot for those particular committees. So we can make sure that there's always opportunity within TAMS, but it doesn't get stale and you don't have the same people all of the time in the same place. So that's really the idea behind the organizational structure, and that's probably about as structured as we get. And there are 11 different committees that you're going to hear from today. And, you know, I'm going to tell you what those committees are, but I'm really going to let them tell you what they're doing because they can do it so much more eloquently than I can. And, you know, people ask how we come up with the committees, and the way that we come up with them is completely organic. It's driven by the TAMS members. So, you know, the TAMS members would say, hey, we'd really like to look into this. We've got an idea. This is what we'd like to build and what we'd like to do. And it comes from them. So again, in our sort of Woodstock tree hugging vision, nobody is sort of directing and saying, this is what you're going to do. It's the organization and the society that says, hey, this is what we'd like to do. So we have a technology team, disruption and innovation, training, marketplace, community and engagement, data research and wiki, breakthrough diversity, sustainability, finance and ethics. They're the grown-ups. Verticals and job search, career and mentoring. And you're going to hear about what they're all doing, which is really, really amazing stuff. So I'm not going to harp on about that too much because, as I say, they can share with what they're doing, but it's got some really nice things. So I'm looking forward to hearing from them.
Great, thank you, Joe. So I guess following in line with structure is we're going to go with, as Joe called them, the grown-ups. And we're going to hear from, first, the Finance and Ethics Committee that keeps us all in line. So Mark Williams, you are up now, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate that. Also, Joe, thanks for the reference to the grown-ups in the room. I guess that's a good thing, as opposed to not being a grown-up in the room. But anyway, we're going to do our best to talk about finance and ethics and keep it exciting in line with Susan's and Joe's comments. The Finance and Ethics Committee, we've been busy getting things rolling and getting structure set up. And you can see our goals here. I'm not going to go through them one by one, but in general, our goal is to put in place the infrastructure that's needed for TAMS to operate. That's as simple as it can be said. There are lots of things around that. There will be regulatory filings that need to be made, tax filings, filings with states, so on and so forth. So the vision, as you see it there, is to maintain the financial and ethical structure, and that's what we will do. I will say this, that like the other committees, the other 10 committees that are represented here, we will certainly welcome additional members to the committee. So if you have an interest in finance or ethics, let us know. At some point, we will break off ethics into a separate committee. So if you have a particular interest in ethics as opposed to finance, let us know that as well. But we would appreciate any support and help that anyone on the call might like to give. Okay, let's talk about what we've accomplished. Thanks, Jen. To date, we have made a decision to incorporate in the state of Delaware. And the good news is that that incorporation document was completed even this morning. And we have secured the services of a registered agent within the state of Delaware. So all of that is moving forward. We have done some research into whether we would be wanted to position ourselves as a 501c3 charitable organization or a 501c6 business league type organization. The decision was made to proceed with a 501c3, and that application will be filed with the Internal Revenue Service in the next couple of weeks. Currently, and this has changed even since this slide was drafted just 2 or 3 days ago. We obtained our conditions of membership. That Delaware filing has been made. We have a template for the bylaws, and that will be fleshed out so that we can do our IRS filing. We will have to prepare pro forma financial statements, and that may take a little bit of magical mystery into that, given that we are so new, but we will do that. And then we need a narrative description of the activities to be conducted by TAMS to support the IRS filing. We also have secured a list of officers and directors for TAMS, and generally those are the people that are speaking on this call today. So once again, if there are any questions, please direct them to us. If you're interested in being a part of finance and/or ethics, please let us know that. And we look forward to moving this forward very quickly now that we've gotten the basics accomplished. With that, Jen, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Mark. Excellent work. See, we are acting like big people. That's awesome. All right, so the next group up is our community and engagement group. And we are going to hear from Justin. Are you ready?
I'm here. Thanks,
Jen. What's going on
Jen.
in community engagement? All right.
Yeah, so community engagement is, as you'll see here in our vision, we are the voice of TAMS. You'll hear Susan say quite a lot, every voice matters. And by the way, Susan, I'm getting a great workout. I'm trying to maintain a smile as long as you are, but you are, I bow to you. You are the queen at that. But in any case, if you think of all of the other committees as a link in the chain that drives the gears that moves TAMS forward, community engagement is the WD-40 that keeps that chain working. So we are the voice overall. I like that bullet point that says to amplify the voice of the member by seeking and sharing member feedback across the globe. So actually, Jen, if you'll show the next slide, that voice is a two-way street. So we have committee liaisons that will communicate with all the different committees to hear what they want you as the membership, as the broader membership to know. But then we also have an end that will hear from you as the members that we will communicate back to the committees what you would like to see and what you would like to know. For example, trying to keep that up with the Q&A. You know, Kelly is asking about the membership options, you know, how you join, and we are going to cover that. But just to kind of sum it up, so when I reached out and said I'd like to get involved, I reached out to Joe and I said, okay, so my company is more of kind of a disruptor and an innovator in the corporate travel industry, but I personally like to make connections. You know, I'm an extrovert. I'm out there. I like to help people figure things out. So if you're like me, you know, I like to think of all of the other committees as having the big brains and I have the big mouth. So if you're like me, then this is the place for you. If you're an extrovert, you like to make connections, get people hooked up, and be that voice, then community engagement is for you. Thanks, Jen.
That's awesome. Thanks, Justin. Fantastic. And I'm the advisor for community engagement, so I'm really passionate about this group. So, and they're doing a lot of really great work and putting together some calendaring and stuff like that. So you're going to see some fantastic upcoming events and stuff. So Joe, speaking of questions, oh yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, I also forgot to mention that, you know, to Susan's point about every voice that matters, if you look at that organizational leadership chart that Joe went through, I'm the community member, you know, but yet for some reason they're letting me speak to you today. So it really is true. Every voice matters and every voice counts.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. So Joe, do we have any questions? I know Justin touched on one of them. Any questions from the audience?
We do. We have a great question from the audience, which is, what is the cost of membership for TAMS? Have we decided on this? So Susan, would you like to break the news on the cost of membership for TAMS?
Yeah, it's really, really, really expensive. It's free. So come on in. So we will be taking donations in all transparency as we move along, because we do have things when we have to pay for, but to be a member of TAMS, come on in. We want you. Every voice matters. We're better together. Thanks for giving me that chance to say that. That was fun.
No worries. I thought you were going to talk about the fact that we charge by labor. So
that's
you work
good.
and you get it for free.
Yeah, that's right. You have to participate. That's the requirement for membership is 1 hour, 1 week a year, 1 month a year, or every other week on a committee. We need you to help us. Your brains matter. Come bring them.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And we have one which I think is for Mark, really. With the incorporation and 5013C filing, is it a goal for TAMS to become another act, and what is the TAMS relationship with GBTA? So, Mark, why don't you answer the first part of that? Is it a goal for us to become an ACT? And then perhaps Susan can talk about the relationship with GBTA.
No, the goal actually is not to become another ACT or GBTA. And that's one of the reasons that we decided to go with a 501c3 filing. ACT was, and GBTA is, a 501c6, which is distinguished in the way that the IRS treats the finances around those organizations. So the goal is to distinguish ourselves from both of those.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep. And so because we're not an association, Joe, we want the associations to come and help us, right? So we have lots of GBTA members. We have other members. We even have CAPA members. We have education groups. We have training groups helping us with training. Everybody is welcome. We want to partner and extend our community and share with our community. So our relationship with GBTA and any other association or community is open, it's welcoming, and it's partnership.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Joe. All right, let's kick it off with our next great team, the data research and Wiki folks. So Andrew Swaby, you are up. What is going on in data research and Wiki?
Thanks, Jennifer, for passing the baton. The Data Research and Wiki Committee has really two focuses with unique visions. Our data vision is a centralized conversation on travel industry data that aims to evolve the latency, accuracy, and the breadth of data across the travel industry. And on the data side, we have really three goals at this time. The first is to centralize the conversation so we can provide direction and momentum to changing travel industry data. Second, when we talk about improving the latency, accuracy, and breadth, we recognize the need for data standards across the industry, has set a goal to write a white paper on the value of data standards. Three, we want to identify how data flows to close the gaps that led to our duty of care data only being 70% accurate. And on the Wiki side, our vision is to publish TAMS-sponsored wikis that support the distribution of travel industry knowledge. And our goal is simply to support the publication of TAMS research initiatives. And Wiki was chosen because of its ability to be a collaborative repository. We're going to derive results by understanding the state of travel data in the past, current, future, benchmarking, computation, and research of work already accomplished. Then we're going to put into data into scope from an economic perspective. What is the value of that data? And then understanding the value for all the stakeholders, and finally providing tangible outputs and results. And you'll be able to find us on the TAMS Slack channel, on LinkedIn, and soon on Wiki, of course. And if you want to lend a hand, we are working on 4 key areas today. The first I mentioned earlier is a white paper, Why Data Standards? We want to look beyond the work done by NDC for the airline industry and understand the perspective of hotel, car rental, et cetera, other stakeholders within the travel industry. Second, we want to work on with stakeholders across the travel ecosystem to identify and close gaps in PNR data. We recognize through some work they've already accomplished that the data that flows today is only 70% accurate. And there are breaks within the channel right now, within the ecosystem, that we want to go and try to fix. Third, we need to develop a campaign strategy, and collaborating with the community engagement team, we need to come up with ways to recruit members and align stakeholders, because if we don't do that, then all the work we do on the white papers and identifying the gaps in the PNR data, it'll all go for naught. So we recognize that we actually need to do a campaign that will drive results and change the industry. And then finally, if you want to lend a hand, Wiki is a great area where you can lend a hand. If you have travel research that you want to publish and you want to collaborate with other travel professionals, please let us know. We're working on our first Wiki. Here's a good example. We're identifying all the travel organizations across the globe, which will ultimately help with our campaign strategy. We meet every Friday at 10 a.m., so please let us know if you want to lend a hand. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Andrew. That was awesome. All right. Joe, anything pressing right now, or I'm going to hop on to technology? Got another question?
Actually, Lisa does have a question for Andrew and is wanting to know if, will the work that Andrew is talking about conflict with the IATA One Order initiative?
Absolutely not. We're actually looking to collaborate with IATA on the NDC initiatives that they have on hand. And, you know, actually the first part of research is looking at what IATA has for white papers on their site, and then meeting with IATA that we're arranging to discuss and understand where can we collaborate with them, where can we help, where are there areas where maybe they have some issues pushing NDC. And so we're really looking to collaborate with them.
That's awesome. Great, thank you. All right, so I'm super excited about this next group up, that is technology, Carolyn Mayer. She has a big announcement for us. So Carolyn, we're gonna kick it off.
All right, so kicking it off for technology, appreciate it, Jen, thanks for the intro. So we have our mission and our vision here. We're raising the standard of technology, knowledge, and adoption of business for travel and meetings. This is kind of very high level because it is. I'm a co-chair of this committee along with Peter Pasalkis, who's on the line, but I'm speaking for the team today. And our advisors are Louise Miller and Catherine Webster. And this is what we're all about and our goals that we've set up for current. And so we've got an events calendar for all the committees that we've set up. So the central calendar we put together. We're putting together an audit workbook for technology, and we're working on that. The biggest one on here is probably the TAMS website, which we're going to show you in a minute. But we have built the TAMS website as part of this technology committee, and we're excited to share that. We're also going to be trying to put together some really great content and put that in a newsletter form, whether that's coming from TAMS as, you know, a monthly newsletter or it's something we're doing. We'll definitely get you some good content out there regarding technology and industry to make sure we're all up to date. And then we'll also be looking at the APIs and doing some white papers, etc. We can move to the next slide. Here are subcommittees, and our subcommittees are at the top. So we got communications, digital, research and development, and data. And these are some of the things that they're working on. So I'm not going to, you know, get into reading the slide. We talked sort of a high level of the deliverables we've been working on. But if any of these interest you, we would love you to join our committee. And you can do that simply by going to the website. You can join TAMS and you can sign up for a committee. So we talked a little about each one of these. Digital is the group that's doing the website. If anybody out there has the skill set to do so and has the time to volunteer, we would like you to reach out, and wanted to shout out to Ed Silver for helping us build the first, that's right, the first version of the website. So Ed, I'll speak on behalf of you. We'll move on to the next slide and give you a little preview of your website. So everybody, you can go up to tamstravel.org right now, and you can log on, you can join a committee, you can join yeah, I mean, we're super excited. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you do need help, feel free to reach out to me or Peter or anybody else on the committee. Also, feel free to join our committee. And your ideas are welcome. We can't wait to get started on all this really great deliverables, and the website itself was a huge accomplishment to get that done for today. And thank you, Ed Silver. Thank you.
Hey, thanks. That's fantastic. The website looks great, by the way.
Yeah, we're using G Suite in the background, so I don't want to leave that out. So we will be using G Suite and Google Share and it's plugged into this website. So there'll be more to come. This is just the announcement. It's out there. It's our starter place, and we'll continue to develop it. So thank you, and thank you, Jen. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
I'm just going to jump in for one
That's
second.
awesome.
This is where
Yes.
you guys go to sign up for a committee. We have document loading. Thank you, technology team. We have all the committees. Everything you need to know about TAMS lives in this website. We are super duper excited, guys. You did such an amazing job. In 2 short months, we've done what companies take 2 years to do. So brilliant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Okay.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Susan. This is great. All right, so let's go on to our next committee, and that is going to be Disruption and Innovation. And we are going to have Hansini Sharma. You are up. What's going on in Disruption and Innovation? Are you on mute? Did we lose her?
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. I wonder how many times
Perfect.
people say that every day now. You're on mute. Can you hear me now?
She was disrupting the
We are very
presentation.
rich. Exactly.
I love it.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jen, for the introduction, and Susan and Joe for being our fearless leaders. I'm very excited to be co-leading this committee with Suzanne Boyen, with Johnny Thorson as our advisor. I find that our title is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing here. Our vision for this committee is to, as it says on our placemat, to create an environment in which entrepreneurs looking to disrupt corporate travel can come to build, learn, and collaborate. We are a place where you come with ideas. No idea is too big or too small. And we want to create an environment in which you can talk freely and openly with other people who care a lot about travel, to either build your idea, collaborate with others, come up with new ideas, and figure out how we can collectively move our industry forward now in the midst of kind of an unprecedented year, and also for the future moving forward and taking advantage of all the different opportunities we have ahead of us. We'll be driving results by first and foremost trust. I think it's really important to kind of talk about this topic in that we want to be really collaborative, and Susan has mentioned many times that all ideas matter, all voices matter, and we want to hear what you think. We'll also be leveraging technology, new ideas, and ways that we can actually build and bring ideas to life. Can we go to the next slide, Jen, please? So there's two ways that we are going to be looking at this. First of all, we'd love for anyone and everyone to join our committee. You don't have to have an idea, you just have to be willing to either listen, show up as you please, and just be ready to hear and be a participant in conversations with our industry peers. So we first of all established 3 subcommittees, so we'll talk about those in a second. When you join the committee, we do a little bit of an interest and skill set matching survey. So we want to hear more about you, what you're interested in, what ideas you have, and also learn about ways that you'd like to grow your own skill set so that we can help to kind of match you with the right committee and with the right folks on our team. And then finally, we have a very entrepreneurial mindset, which is we'd like to broaden this committee, and more to come on that in the coming months, to all entrepreneurs and small businesses as a place where they can develop their ideas. So how we're going to do that is across 3 subcommittees. The first one is the travel value chain, which as a consultant myself, I find that baselining the industry is very important. So we're going to be working to understand how all of us fit into this really broad travel value chain, how we all sit, where we sit, how we all work together, and how we can continue to ideate and disrupt that. The next committee is a think tank where kind of like the Shark Tank without the Mark Cubans of the world, coming up with a bunch of different ideas where we create this environment where you can share ideas, build upon existing thoughts, and potentially collaborate and meet other industry entrepreneurs who you might not have met in a different world to think about how you can put your ideas together and make something bigger and better. And finally, we have a disruption marketplace where it's a little bit more tactical, but helping you bring your ideas to life. So leveraging the skill sets and minds of people who have built businesses before us, who are in the midst of it and who have a lot of ideas, where you can go and figure out how to actually build and get started in the travel world. So please join our committee. We're open to everyone, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
That's awesome. Thanks, Mancini. I have to say, just looking at all this work, I'm wondering what our audience is thinking, like which committee, which one, which should I choose? Should I do them all? I can only do one. So I think it's going to be a tough decision for a lot of people after they see all this amazing work. So pause real quick, Joe, any questions?
No, I think we're good for the moment. I think
Well, I had a quick question come to me directly, which is,
Yes.
do I have to only choose one committee, or can I participate in more than one? Yep, you can participate in more than one committee if you have the time, if you want to split your time, absolutely. But I expect to see a ton of entrepreneurs come in and contacting Hansini and Suzanne Boyen, who are running this team. It's in the website. And we really want to see what you guys are doing out there, and we want everybody to give their thoughts. So great job, everybody.
All right, thanks. Okay, our next committee is Breakthrough Diversity. Carol Fergus, you are up, and we're going to hear some exciting things on the diversity front.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our world. We are the passion. We're all about the people, definitely, the heart of everything that's happening. And, you know, our vision is to be, as with the communication, the voice, the seat, anything, the safe place for everybody. Working with my co-lead, Linda Biko, and obviously our advisor, Paul Johans, fantastic group. We already, if we go to the next slide, it'll give you a lot more vision on where we are going. We already have 23 people in our group and growing. You know, we've recruited another 4 people only this week. So people want to join us. What we're about is ensuring that, you know, we've created a number of subcommittees within our group: race and culture, LGBTQ, education and training, the D&I and resources, so templates, things that we can provide you, the marketing and education, charity and community, gender balance, disability and mental health. Within those, we've already created leaders within those substrands, people that have the skills, the knowledge, the expertise that are going to be there to support, help both members, new members, organizations with everything that they need, any question that they want to ask, anything that they want to talk about. We are the people that you need to come and talk to. You know, we are so passionate about what we're doing. Every single person that has joined us, the first thing we ask them is, why do you want to be part of our world? And if you look at our overall org chart, it shows a picture of every individual and their passion. We have a reason to be part of our group, and that's why it's about longevity. We're going to be here for a very, very long time because the people that have joined us want to be with us. They have a reason to be there. They want to help. They want to talk. They want to make a difference to the industry, and they want to help every single person that's out there at the moment, whether they're working, whether they're not, to make a difference in the travel industry for them and make the industry absolutely great. So we want people to come and join us every day. I won't speak to a supplier unless they join TAMS. That's my rule. If you want a meeting with me, you need to join TAMS. It's free to join. It's the quick click on the button, and then you become part of our world. And it opens up to so much. Already you've seen really amazing people telling you the stuff that's already been done. We've got a circle of love. It shows that the diversity and inclusion, breakthrough diversity, the name that we have created inclusively as a group, we're at the heart of everything that happens. Come and talk to us. People speak to us. We will link you to every single group within TAMS. It doesn't matter what you want to do. Come and talk to us. We're your safe space. You can tell us anything. Shout it out and learn. That's what we're about. We already have prepared a roadmap of things that we're going to do between now and the end of the year. So in September the 23rd, please join us. We're putting a stake in the ground. Breakthrough diversity, stake in the ground. The team leads will tell you what we're about, what we're planning to do, what our agenda is, what our passion is, and how you can join us and be part of what we're doing. In October, Black History Month, everyone's talking about the race conversation. We're going to give you a gift. We're writing the toolkit as we speak. That gift is how to have those uncomfortable conversations and make it comfortable. So come and join us. There is a lot that we can do. We're talking to the associations. We're showing them the benefits of being part of TAMS. Everyone needs to be part of what we do. So come and join us, please. That's me.
Thank you. That's awesome, Carol.
Coming soon, we're going to have t-shirts with this circle of love that's going to help us raise money because I love it. I can't wait. So stay tuned for that circle of love t-shirt.
It's awesome.
I
have a question, which is, how many maximum number of committees do you think it's realistic to join?
Is that? I think that depends on your individual bandwidth, right? I mean, you know, you can contribute a lot. You can contribute a little to a lot of committees, or you can contribute a lot to one committee. It all depends on what your passion is. I think what I find is so interesting about TAMS is that I can just pop in and listen. I can hop in on someone else's meeting and just hear what they're doing. And if I have something to contribute, I contribute. And if I don't, I stay quiet. But I don't really stay quiet very often, so I usually have something to say.
And that's
I think that's what makes it amazing.
Idea, Jen, because on the website, we're going to have published all the meetings. So you can jump in and out as much as you want. So great for bringing that up, Jen. So you too can join in and jump in and out of meetings that interest you.
I have to say one thing as Carol was talking, a friend of mine just texted me and said, I don't have a lot of time to volunteer, but I bleeping love this. And I'm going to make time. So you know who you are on this call. I won't use your name, but I think that's awesome. So, all right, let's go on to our next committee, which is the Marketplace Committee. And Chris Crowley, what's going on in the Marketplace?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Marketplace Committee. This is the most dynamic and possibly the most revolutionary committee of all. When we thought about our marketplace and what we wanted to do, we really wanted to escape from the restraining orders that we've all been under in doing our business for the last 20, 25 years in the travel industry. You know exactly what I'm talking about, trade fair type environments dominated by major sponsors where innovative or new companies can't get a place, agendas that are dominated by what sponsors want to say, the selling of segments of our business like buyers or whoever it is for money and dollars that drives the agenda and the way that we work. So we wanted to create something that was open and virtual. We tried very hard in our various conversations, and I'm very lucky to be co-chairing this with Mary Ellen Yeager, and I think she's partially responsible for some of this, but the concept we came up with was kind of a cross between a Moroccan souk, which is the picture that you saw on the previous slide, a Las Vegas casino, and a rock festival, a place where everybody can pitch up, they can put up their tent, they can sell their wares, they can interact with people, they can have an open and dynamic conversation. There's no preferencing. Every pitch will be the same in terms of the way that it's sold and promoted. We will not take any sponsorship money. There will be no transactions conducted in this environment. It will be an open place for people to interact, learn about each other's products and services, have dialogue, create relationships. As you can imagine, in any sort of ground up environment like this, the practical details of how we do this are very important. So Jen, if you go to the next slide, I can talk through a couple of those. So we had to sort of think, well, how would Marketplace best work? How do we create this big open environment? How do we bring it out to people? We came to the conclusion, partially influenced by the fact that we've got a lot to do, that this is possibly something for the second wave of TAMS. So we get our community, our website up first, our community together, and then we bring the marketplace in. We need the right technology platform. We've all been attending lots of virtual conferences and meetings. It's therefore very important that we have the right kind of space where people can interact, talk, do demos, notify each other. We've had some good and not so good examples of that in some of the things we've been attending. It's quite important that we have a clear way of having a vendor profile. If you're going to come and be a vendor in the marketplace, how do we define that? We don't want to bucket you in the wrong way. We don't want to limit you from what you can do. We don't want to stick you in a tent you don't want to be in, right? So it's also important that we have a very open way to do that. We need to look at the way that we can do our virtual vending. Do we go with avatars? Do we go with virtual marketplaces? Do we just say screw it and just have a great big open site where everybody just walks around? Do we curate in some way around topics or subjects? So that scope and communities point is also very key. And added to that is also how much time we are open. So we could just have a great big open souk that's open 24 hours a day. I think some of our vendors might possibly die in this situation. So, and let's face it, that's a lot of work, a lot of time. So we also have to maybe think about the timing of different communities and when things come live or not. And then communicating is going to be very important. There's a lot of natural links between this open virtual marketplace environment and, for example, the data and Wiki piece, the Wiki piece in particular, the disruption and innovation pieces that you've heard already, the training piece that you're going to hear about a bit later on. There are natural links all over the place with the other committees. So it's also important how we communicate and we interact with everyone. And I guess the last thing to say is that, if you want to join a committee of completely irresponsible, uncontrollable, unreformed business lunatics, this is a place to come. Don't listen to those other guys. You want to be in marketplace. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you, Chris. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm super excited as a buyer to have a safe place to go. I think is going to be fantastic. So great job, great job. All right, let's go on to sustainability. Terry Moreno, you're up. What's going on in sustainability, girl? And I'll say it again. Are you on mute? Terry?
There we go. Apologies.
Okay.
So good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, especially for our committee members, because we do have committee members all over the world. Thank you for being here and for wanting to learn more about TAMS. As you've already heard from my esteemed colleagues, we're a passionate group with no hidden agenda, just looking to do some good for the business, travel, meetings, and events community. And I'm here to introduce you to the Sustainability Committee, who I work on along with my co-chair, Shimon Avish, and our advisor, Cheryl Benjamin. We have about 20 members right now, but we are actively recruiting for more. As you can see, the vision of our community is to produce jointly developed and mutually agreed upon information and mechanisms to address sustainability issues in business, travel, and meetings. And we're going to accomplish this primarily through benchmarking and research, creating tools and resources, and of course, education. So initially, we do plan to focus on education. When most people hear the word sustainability, they think of the earth and environmental responsibility, mostly reducing carbon emissions, and that certainly is important, but there is so much more to it than that. There are really three areas or pillars of a comprehensive sustainability program. These are social, also known as human or cultural, environmental, and economic, or more simply put, the three Ps: people, planet, and profit. With current world events, we have a responsibility to address all three pillars of sustainability, not just the environmental piece. Our group will focus on how to best contribute to improving and maintaining the balance between those three pillars through recommendations for business, travel, meetings, and events sourcing and policies for travel buyers, and how to provide products and services that reduce negative impact and increase positive impact to this balance for suppliers. The three pillars all work together in harmony to result in a sustainable existence. Where the three pillars overlap with each other, well, that's the sweet spot. So for example, a restaurant that uses locally grown produce, dairy, eggs, and meats help the environment because it doesn't need to be transported long distances, hence reducing carbon emissions, but it also lowers the cost of distribution, which can increase profit for local farms and businesses, as well as provide jobs for local farm workers, and improves the lives of the local population by providing improved nutrition and food safety, as it is often preservative, pesticide, and hormone-free. So while the most widely known aspect of sustainability, and probably the sentimental favorite, is environmental, improving the condition of our planet alone is not enough. We also need to improve the social condition and create an economic policy where everyone can thrive. Further, there's much more to environmental sustainability besides just reducing carbon emissions and global warming. We also need to focus on solid waste reduction and the pollution of our water supply. So we've broken our committee into three subcommittees, one for each of the three pillars, where we will work to produce tools that can be used to create and measure and continuously improve a sustainability program for business, travel, meetings, and events through education, beginning with the travelers who are really on the front line of the decision-making process. We need to engage with those people who are actually using the services and products in the course of their employment. We'll continue to expand and better educate travel buyers and their companies and organizations to include sustainability efforts in their travel policy and sourcing, which will in turn encourage suppliers to improve their sustainability efforts in their products and services. And we plan to do this by producing resources such as sample policies and educational collateral that we will share to the general public for their use, because this is important stuff that we really should share freely because it is for everyone's benefit. And as I said, we are actively recruiting, especially in the social, human, and economic subcommittees, and we hope to hear from some of you who are out there to join our group.
That's awesome. Thank you, Terry. That's fantastic. All right, let's go. I'm going to go, in the essence of time, Joe, I'm going to give to the next couple of groups, and then we can open it up for Q&A. So training and development, Patty Ferris.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jen. First and foremost, thank everybody for being on this call. I know that time is certainly on everyone's mind, but I'm going to speak actually from a passion of mine, which is training and development. And with so much disruption that has happened in our industry, this is a really important committee member, and I'm thrilled to be participating with my co-lead Darlene Fitzsimmons and our wonderful advisor Michelle Grant, who I've worked with since the beginning. So the training committee, when you think of training, the first thing that probably pops into your head is, you know, sitting there and just listening to trainings, RFP training. That's not what this is going to be about. This is going to be about really focusing on developmental opportunities for you as an individual to help people grow within their current position, or possibly get new skill sets that will help them get into another position. With so many people losing their jobs and being furloughed, we want to make sure that people are ready for what's going to come next, because nobody knows what's going to come next. And that might be something from communication to education to Excel spreadsheets and knowing how to take that next step. So that is what our committee is going to be doing, is helping leveraging your greatest assets. So Jen, the next slide. We're very excited about our sneak peek. We have two things that are going to be coming up within the next couple of months. The first one is going to be our first seminar on effective communication. And when we talk about effective communication, we're talking about how to communicate up, how to commute laterally, and how to communicate down. And it's not going to be a typical session of how to write an email. It's going to be really how to take you to that next level. And then something I'm very excited about, and our group is really focused on, is a TAMS talk. It's going to be an 18 to 22 minute video on a passion of somebody's, whether that somebody is somebody high up, whether it's somebody outside of the industry, but something that is a passion. No selling, just something that's going to take them, that has made them something exciting and has made them doing exciting things within their career. So we're excited about that. Look for that in the next couple of weeks. And then finally, we need you. We want you. You know, we look at, you know, whether it is, you know, a talent or your time, you know, we realize this is volunteer. You know, whether it is an hour, whether it's 6 hours, it doesn't matter. We want to hear from you. Everything that you bring is a treasure to any committee that you choose to join. So come, you know, join any of these committees. You know, TAMS, we're stronger together and we're stronger with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Patty. That's awesome. Thank you. Fantastic. Great work. I'm really excited about the TAMS talk because I think they're going to be able to highlight just the depth and breadth of what we have going on in the TAMS community. So that's awesome. All right. So job, search, career, and mentoring. Ms. McLee, you are up. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited about the framework of what we've put forward so far. And I am speaking to you on behalf of my partners in this group. It's Michelle Simmons, Barb Bernard, Susan McKernan, and Mike Daly. And essentially, this is something that started off as just being a career-focused committee, and we segmented it into 3 different areas. Let's flip over and get right into those areas, Jen, on the next slide. The first is job search. And as we all know, a job search, and we have so many colleagues and friends that are out of work in the hospitality community especially. I know myself, I've got a list of 37 names that's next to me every day of people that I've been in touch with that I'm trying to help to get to their next adventure. I think the thing that's important that all of us do understand as well, each of us are a moment away from being on that list. And so I think it's a great opportunity for those of us that are working to volunteer and give back and try to help people that are in between jobs and really need to get to the next place. We partner here across all three of these pillars with the training committee to make sure that we are complementing each other and not duplicating the work that's out there. And essentially this will be classes around things like interview skills. And what's particularly important is how introverts can put themselves out there to get a job, and how networking is very different if you're networking generally or if you're networking to get a job. The second pillar is career. And so this is around learning and development on all stages of career, from the beginning of your career towards if you're getting close to retirement. And I think the thing that's important with what we're focusing on here, it's not just about, I want to get promoted, because not everyone wants to get promoted. It's about what's important for every one of us, which is how to remain relevant, how to remain engaged, and how to make sure that you're doing all possible to foster your career. And the last thing too on this piece is that I want to eradicate the term soft skills, because it's all soft skills. We need to leverage transferable skills, influence skills, and work across the board. And the third is mentoring. Pretty straightforward, one-to-one mentoring and reverse mentoring, and how we can help to foster those relationships. And I think it's important for this one is, this is not a group mentoring program, which is covered very well by GBTA Ladders. And I know a lot of you around the world that's on this call have been engaged in that program. This is really focused on one-to-one and how we can help there. Mindful that we're short on time, I want to leave you with this. We are the most excited about getting as many people involved as we can. We only have a few more slots left on our committee. So if you are interested in joining, please see the website and drop us a note. And we are the most fun committee, and we focus on using time very wisely. So if you give us 30 minutes, we'll make sure it's time well spent. Over to you, Jen.
Thanks, Nick. I don't know. I think you might have some competition on the most fun committee part of it, but I bet it's a blast. So
Gotta
that's
stir
awesome.
the pot a little.
You got to stir it up a little bit. All right. So our last committee that we're going to hear from, last but not least, is going to be our Verticals Committee. This is a brand new committee that is just coming to fruition, and I know they're going to be doing a lot of recruiting. So I am going to turn it over to Billy Boss. Once Billy's done, then we'll kind of wrap up with some final Q&A if there's any, and what we're going to do on the next step. So Billy, take it away.
Thanks so much, Jen. I really appreciate that. We are so excited to start this committee, and I'm along with Gloria Gonzalez and Leslie O'Brien, just starting out, as Jennifer said, and we are kind of going to represent the content. We're kind of going to want to serve as subject matter experts. We want to make sure that the TAMS committees, all the TAMS committees are leading the content and making sure they're going towards the industry trends. So what we're looking for and what we would like to see is subject matter experts to join and be a part of our committee. As it says on the slide here, it doesn't really need to be limited just to the big three: air, hotel, and ground transportation. We're looking for across the board experts, subject matter experts, to help us in this endeavor. So we're brand new, and we're looking for passionate, very, very exciting people, and that's where we're starting from. So I'll turn it back to you, Jen. Thanks.
Thanks, Billy. Yeah, the interesting thing about Verticals is as we were forming all these different committees, I said to Susan, I said, maybe we should have a committee that kind of thinks about the actual categories that we have in the industry, make sure we're not missing anything. I thought maybe that might have been important. So that's how the Verticals Committee came. So we're excited to have Billy and Gloria. So thank you guys for hosting that. All right, next steps. Susan Lichtenstein, our resident comic, poker player, TikToker. Why don't you talk a little bit about why people should join TAMS?
Wow,
and then we'll
thanks,
talk about
Jen.
how to do it.
This has been amazing. So first, thank you to everyone that participates in TAMS, and everyone I know will participate in TAMS. We're all pretty funny guys, so I think the contest is on to measure who's having the most fun. I will personally lead that contest. I am looking forward to that. That's a mandatory requirement. You know, thank you so much. I think TAMS you know, not only are we doing great stuff to move the industry forward, but most importantly, it's the fellowship of TAMS, right? I've met people I never would have met before. You know, I mean, look at Joe and I, the yin and yang hanging out together. That wouldn't have happened before TAMS. So we have 11 consulting companies. Our communities are just growing every day. There's no walls. There's no fences around us. Every voice matters. We are better together. We have people in the group that are just so embracing this community, this fellowship, that, you know, your networking is just never ending. We have so many ways for you to talk to us, right? We now have a new Twitter. Woo, Shani, you're there, right? Shani, I don't know if you can unmute. But Shani, we have a new Twitter at tamstravel.org. Stay tuned for my bad jokes on there, and unless Shani deletes them. And then, and all the other great stuff that's going to be there. So come join us on Twitter. We have a new website we talked about. We have a new G Suite. I mean, what don't we have? We have a LinkedIn page, and we have fun, and we have brain hurting sessions that, you know, somebody said it to me yesterday, to learn is to live. And I am living more every day in TAMS because I learn every day from TAMS. So I don't even know what else to say except thank you. Go ahead,
Well,
Joe.
let me just ask you a couple of questions. So we have a question from Ivan. Mick mentioned that they've almost reached the maximum number of committee members. Is there an actual maximum per committee?
No, 0 maximum. Mick was just joshing you. That was her attempt at being the tallest committee in the world. So no limits on that. And that was, you know, okay, Mick, we're gonna have to get you funnier because people are taking you serious. I'm just saying.
Well, actually, I stand corrected, and my leaders have just corrected me. I misunderstood. So yes, please join our committee. Thank you.
It's just Mick's way of telling you that she's trying to get more people to join and win that contest on her committee. She's making it very unique.
Well, actually, Mick, I don't know if you spotted in the chat, somebody had reached out, Jordan had reached out and said they love doing interview prep and soft skill, not soft skills, I know you don't like soft skills, but interview prep, and would love to get involved in the committee to do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to keep a record of all of these chats and make sure that each...
And Joe, that's a great point. I mean, somebody said it earlier. Look at the industry leaders that are on TAMS, and every voice matters. Their voice, our voice, no voice is more important than the other, but come hang out. Come hang out, and I think Justin said, you know, bring your instrument, whatever that is, and we'll jam. Right?
Exactly. Velia has asked a question. She's been waiting ages, and the question is for Andrew, who looks like he's disappeared. Come back. But otherwise, I think Susan might be able to field it.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Excellent.
And you dressed up for us today. That's nice.
Will there be potential certifications that will be updated content?
Is this referring to the wiki?
I think so.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. We're going to want to monitor and certify what's being put on there, and I think that's where, you know, the concept is it'll be a TAMS-sponsored wiki, and we're still thinking through it. So more to come, but the idea is a TAMS-sponsored wiki, and we would be looking through it, monitoring it, assuring that it remains accurate. So people try to publish onto the wikis. You know, the beauty is the collaborative space, but it also means that folks that we may not know may contribute, and we just want to do some verification on that as we go. But like travel organizations, which is going to be our first wiki, is a good example of this. Like, we're going to create for this one the base of it, and we'll note a lot of the bigger organizations, but we're going to look to organizations across the world to start contributing and post themselves on this wiki so we can start collecting. And so we need that collaboration, and as we do that, we'll certify to assure that, you know, those folks are, you know, actually real organizations, et cetera. So more to come. We're still learning. Wiki's kind of a new concept to me, quite honestly, the workings of it in the background. So we're learning as we go. But if anybody out there is an expert in Wiki, has done things on Wiki, please join us, teach us, because we're really learning as we go. But I think that we're going in the right direction.
Awesome. Joe, who asked that question anyway?
That was Velia. Velia Cox.
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Velia Cox.
Great. So welcome to TAMS. You're now part of that team, and you're going to help us build that out. Yay!
Yeah. Something
Right.
everybody that's listening should learn. As soon as you say something, you can volunteer.
We love that idea. Come on in.
Billy's in.
Exactly.
Remember, guys, we're only 2 months long, and look at all the great work we've done so far. Any more questions, Joe?
Yes. Susan, can you cover what the joiners/members need to do when they're not on a committee?
Yeah, sure. So in the website, there'll be areas for you that if you can't join a committee, which, you know, you only need to do 5 minutes a month, 10 minutes a month, a half hour, an hour, so no excuses. But if you can't join a committee, we're going to have places for you. We need documentation, we'll need communication and engagement. We'll be posting areas where you can participate. We need people to help us, SMEs on board. So you heard from the verticals. You know, we need information from you guys. We reached out recently to IATA and they responded immediately. So if you belong to a group or a place or a company that you think you can contribute to TAMS, great. We're also going to have donations coming up soon. So donations don't come attached to anything. And that's the way we'll keep rolling along. We believe that worked. It will work in the marketplace. It will work in general. We'll let you know where there's going, how that's going to happen soon. But every voice does matter. So part of our LinkedIn page, part of our Twitter, we will be reaching out. Stay involved in those communication channels. Look for our webinars, our videos, and then you'll know where you fit in as your expertise and jump in and help us if you can.
The other thing that I'd also mention about that is if you're not sure what you can commit or you're not sure what you want to do, but you want to get a little closer to TAMS, just let us know and we can bring you into the Slack community. In the majority, the TAMS family live in Slack, so there's always lots of conversation, lots of discussions. You can see the channels, the conversations that are happening in the different committee channels. So come and hang out in there for a while and see in which direction you're pulled. And there's also opportunities. I'm the one that posts the stupid gifts every week, but you can come and join in with me doing that. I'm a bit lonely with the stupid gifts.
We'll have TikToks. That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Well, and I think also, I just want to add, one of the biggest things that you can do is help us get the word out. So as we post about webinars and we tweet and we Instagram and we do whatever we do out there in the public, just share, retweet. That's all it takes. So that's all you want to do, that would be great too. We'd appreciate that. More questions, Joe?
Yes, we've got quite a few coming in now. So Liz says she's just applied. Looks like I could only select one committee on the website. Will there be an opportunity to let someone know any other committees I would be interested in?
My answer.
No, that's great. So you can private message those leaders, no problem. And we'll get the website going so you can join more than one, no problem. So thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, so you see who the leaders are, just private message them through LinkedIn or whatever methodology you can, and they'll get you on board. Easy.
I read it and answered already. We're making is you can select more than one. So we're
well, there you go. See how fast we are? We're so fast. We're so fast. I love that, Carolyn. Thank you.
Okay, we've also had a suggestion for a risk duty of care vertical that we should start looking at. So I've made a note of that. And
great idea. Come join the vertical team. That's
exactly. Join the verticals, yeah.
Exactly. When do you want to know how you get into Slack? That is by invitation only. So you can message anyone that's on here or just drop a note in the LinkedIn and we will send you a link to get you into the Slack community. There you go. Shani's just answered. Send the email to info@TAMS.org to get you in. She's on it.
And all the meetings will be on our website. So if you're a leader on this call and haven't done that yet, send it to the website team. All your meetings will be listed on the website to jump in.
Caroline, I think this is another one for you. If you're using G Suite, you've got that one. You can set up a phone number for TAMS. How great would it be to pick up the phone and ask a travel industry question? That would be really cool, actually.
It would be really cool. Well, we'll get back to you on that.
Sounds like communication and engagement too. So we have another new member.
Yes.
Woohoo!
One of the things we want to do is an Ask Me Anything series where we have industry experts come in and we just do an open like Zoom call where you just ask me anything. Just ask me whatever you want. So that's a great compliment to that.
Thanks, Shani.
And Alex has said the SOS report is a document that should be at the base of legislation to be implemented at a country level. In light of that, is there a committee that works towards this goal or have it as a perspective? Interesting question.
Do you want me to answer that, Susan?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So we have been talking about sort of industry activity around engaging with leadership in different countries and stuff and trying to put that forward and everything. We're a little bit too young right now, but we do have some people that have come up and said, hey, we'd love to help with those types of activities. So I think it's on the horizon, but we need to do a little bit more forming before we're ready to launch there. So, but yes, but as soon as we're ready, we'll
come join the communication engagement team, and
Yep.
they will be the ones that will put that forward. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan, this is in the chat, has said that they're doing a thesis on COVID-19 and its impact on the business travel industry. Well, yes, good luck with that. And would be keen to get some discussion and interview industry subjects and welcome. So that's Jordan Blackner. If you'd like to connect on LinkedIn, and they can engage on that thesis. It's going to be a cheery one. Okay, so I think from the questions,
I think we got most of them.
I think we did.
Yeah.
So we're going to publish these
Perfect.
slides in the session, so you can pass it around. That's going to be really fun. So you can take a look around. So from breakthrough diversity, which is my heart. Thank you. Oh my God. I have tears in my eyes because I'm so overwhelmed by the love. I'm so overwhelmed by the inclusion. I'm so overwhelmed by this brain trust. It's beyond anything I ever imagined in my wildest dreams from a simple post on LinkedIn. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming to our session. Just God bless you all and stay safe and healthy.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And yes, there is a recording of the session.
Thank you.
Thank you.